Barry, will you talk us through the next one?
For sure. Our next story on the week that was is looking at New Zealand, as you were just chatting about a bit earlier. There was unfortunately a terrible natural disaster that happened about a week ago where a giant volcano on an island called White Island erupted. And a lot of tourists who were on that island, who were hiking that volcano, unfortunately lost their lives, and a lot of them are in severe and critical conditions. As far as I understand, the volcano was... They had pegged at about a 40% chance of erupting when the guys were on the volcano, and unfortunately 40% happens 40% of the time, and this is one of those times. And so it erupted, and unfortunately on an island like that, there's not much room to get out, right? If you're on that volcano, it's very difficult to escape, and that lava moves so quickly that if you're up there, unfortunately you've got no real chance. And so as of today, we're recording this, there's 16 people who've been confirmed dead, and another 14 in the hospital, a lot of them in critical condition, and so we really do offer our condolences and our prayers and thoughts there. What I found interesting was the stories of the helicopter pilots who were flying from New Zealand to White Island and saving people from the burning lava itself. I watched some of the footage and saw some of the photos of some of the conditions that these helicopter pilots were piloting into the island, and it's unbelievable. Through the smoke, through the lava, landing and pulling people out and saving lives. And that kind of first response is really, really amazing to see, especially when there's only like a limited number of people involved in this disaster, right? But it doesn't matter. Those helicopters go in and they save one person, because those lives are valuable. And so, yeah, I think it's an interesting discussion about whether volcano tourism is going to take a huge hit because of this, right? Obviously, climbing a volcano is on a lot of people's bucket lists, and it's a really, really cool thing to see. And you see those photos and you kind of think, oh, I really want to go and do that. But there is serious risk there, and it's the kind of risk that you can't protect against. It's one of those things when Mother Nature has its way. So I was curious to hear what you think, Chad.
Yeah, absolutely tragic. I also obviously just saw that popping up on the news feed as it was happening. And as you say, I think just the act of discovering over time how many people were there at the time. And obviously there were boats kind of passing by the island at the time. People on board were even scared at just seeing this amount of smoke that they've kind of not really seen before. So yeah, certainly heroic pilots, and just really good to see how committed people are at saving even just that one life. Every single life is valuable. And yeah, I mean, I saw you put down a statue of how much skin has been ordered to treat these people. I mean, can you order skin?
That's what I found fascinating, is that with so many of these burns, a lot of these patients in critical condition need a lot of skin because their skin has really been burnt off, and lots of third-degree burns there. So what I found out was New Zealand didn't have enough skin in their inventory, or didn't have enough to treat these people. So some of the patients went to Australia who received treatment there, but the guys in New Zealand had to go and order more skin, right? And so what happens is that if you're an organ donor, when you die, you donate a lot of your skin or a lot of your organs as well. Right. And so there are banks of these organs where you can go and get organs if you need at a moment's notice. So I'm not sure exactly where it is in the world or where that skin came from, but they went and ordered it. I think it said 120 square meters of skin. And to put it into perspective, the average human body has about 1 square meter of skin. So it's about enough skin for 120 people worth. Which I thought was quite interesting. And I was reading about it. They say that most of it comes from patients at the back of their legs and on their backs. That's kind of the most standard skin that comes from. And they only take like the top layer. So they don't take deep layer. They take the top layer, almost the layer that burns when you get a sunburn and peels off. So it's a very, very thin layer of skin. And then they layer those layers onto the patient to try and get the skin to take on their new body. So I thought that was interesting. We don't often think about those kind of organs as a necessary life-saving device. Like we think about hearts and kidneys and stuff sometimes, but skin is something I haven't thought about, certainly. And the idea of them ordering skin, flying them into New Zealand to save these people's lives, it's fascinating to me.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting one, is skin is actually an organ. We always talk about, the heart and various other organs, but we don't really ever regard skin as that, and it is an incredibly important commodity. And just really good that there was a bank available to help these people. Hopefully it doesn't grow that death toll and certainly the people in hospital as well. So we'll have to monitor that. Deepest condolences to anyone in New Zealand and anyone who sort of was caught up in any way in this tragedy. We've had these tragedies in the last few episodes. We're talking about London Bridge now, something obviously Mother Nature getting involved. And this does happen from time to time. So yeah, we certainly just need to be grateful that the rest of us are all okay, and just hope that all of those people make a speedy recovery.
Also, from my side, I think it's important that we all become organ donors, right? I think that it's another call for a lot of us to think about organ donation when we are dead. We can save a life in our death, and so I think it's interesting to. I certainly have been thinking about it quite seriously over the last couple of days. I need to look into it and how it works and all that stuff. But to be an organ donor means you can save people's lives long after you're gone, and so I think it's an interesting call to make.
100%, absolutely.
Across the pond with Barry and Chad.